welcome back to another devlog of Astro. We're finally on Steam, so if you like what you see, go wishlist the game. In this video, I added punch, elbow, and drop kicking. You can now fling yourself off edges, a cool new alt fighter for the shotgun, and a bunch more, so let's get into it. I've always wanted melee combat to be core in Astro. Since it's a movement shooter, the idea of a player not even needing to have a gun, but have such a high skill in movement that they can maneuver around the map and be just as good as players with guns is such a sick idea. So I've added 3 base melee mechanics. The punch is the light attack, and it does 50 damage. You can just activate it by pressing X. The mag kick is the heavy attack, and requires you to press Shift X, since Shift is the turbo key. You can see the arms go out, and the player dumps their turbo charge into this big dash forward. The mag kick also completely changes your velocity direction, so you can use it as an escape dash as well. If you mag kick off a wall, you get a big boost off that wall back in the other direction, and you regain the cost in charge that it took to perform the mag kick. The kick does 85 damage, and I originally had it as an insta-kill, but I also want to add other melee weapons in the future, and if the kick is already instant, then I feel like other things like a sword or a knife wouldn't be viable. You can also throw elbows by pressing A and X or D and X, but they're pretty weak right now. They have like horrible range and low damage, but I'm thinking potentially of in the future allowing you to parry projectiles by pressing these buttons. It would be pretty hard to netcode, so don't get your hopes up on that. But I think that'd be a really sick way to make the combat, especially the melees, even more dynamic and like fluid. Technically, also I added 2 more melees. There's uppercut and elbow drop. So you activate those by pressing Q and X and E and X respectively. And I don't really have a good niche for these right now. They're kind of just weaker versions of the punch. The elbow drop specifically was supposed to be this like really long anim lock that would deal a ton of damage, but was really hard to pull off. But it's just too impractical, it seems like right now. So if I can find a better niche for these, maybe I'll keep them in, but I'm probably going to scrap them. So I introduced Magnet in the last devlog, which is the mechanic where the player can press space and activate this magnet from their left hand. And basically this will attract them to the nearest thing, which could be a surface, it could be a physics body. But right now, mainly the use is just that you attract to a surface. And then once you hit that surface, you enter surface lock and you can slide along it. And proportional to how much speed you have, you can also accumulate surface charge by like essentially grinding on the surface. And that surface charge will then determine how powerful you can blast off the surface. I added a major upgrade to this mechanic by allowing you to do edge blasting. So when you slide over an edge now, you'll activate this special type of push off where you essentially grab the edge and fling your body around it, which gives you full directional control of your new velocity and gives you like a big speed boost on top of what you would get from the normal surface charge. And this is really satisfying. Like I think this really tied the magnet together because you can just whip around corners, even take like ridiculous corners and not lose any velocity, even gain velocity. And it just feels a lot more kind of surfy, which I was kind of going for with the old mechanic, but didn't really achieve. It also works on physics bodies too, which includes the player, guns, the teleport grenade. So any of these objects, you can now use the magnet to attract them to you. And this actually was a implicit buff for the teleport grenade because now you can throw the teleport grenade, then use the magnet to attract it back to you, and then punch it, which creates this pretty dope combo, which like feels almost like you're casting a spell. But really, you're just using 3 completely separate mechanics that all come together in one. And you can send the teleport grenade way farther than you would be able to just by throwing it. In my opinion, the grapple was pretty horrendous in previous playtests. It just didn't give you the acceleration that you would expect from swinging around a corner. And that's the whole purpose of a grapple. So it just kind of lacked that and it felt so tame and not very viable. I think this is due to the fact that the code was getting really complicated. I mean, the grapple hook was a physics body that the player would like throw from their hand. And I had to add all these forces to it to like correct it to be how a grapple hook would be thrown. And there was this idea of a tension in the rope. Just so many different variables that I couldn't even really manage and tune how I wanted the feel of the grapple to look. So I went completely back to basics, a simple target point and a centripetal acceleration applied to the player. And that actually worked way better than all the code I've written before. It just gave it that oomph when you swing around a corner, and it felt so rewarding to line up your angles through the map. So another cool feature I added to the Grapple is instant target locking. So when you press F, which is the gadget key, you'll instantly set the target point of the hook of the Grapple, but you'll still have about 0.2 or 0.3 seconds of animation where the character has to throw the Grapple and it has to go to the target point. And this allows you to instantly set where you want to go, which is indicated by this red dot, and then look into the direction of your velocity to capture the perfect swing. The Grapple now also auto-detaches, which was a pretty glaring feature that the previous Grapple did not have. So when you're at the apex of your swing, you'll automatically get sent off the Grapple, and there's a little bit of help to guide your velocity in the direction you're looking, so that you can just hit the line that much cleaner. Grapple also works on physics bodies. That means you can grapple to players, which has two important sides to it. A, you can boost your teammate, and B, you can attract yourself to an enemy. A really cool idea here is that you can grapple to an enemy player, pull them towards you, and then drop kick them. Somebody in our playtests mentioned that we should make the Grapple deal 15 damage so that the Grapple will automatically get them to the critical health needed to finish them in one dropkick, which I think would be a sick addition. By the way, if you want to get involved in any of our playtests, you should join the Discord. The link's in the description.
Never mind, I lost it.
That might be my best stuff ever.
So in the last devlog, I introduced alt fires, which is the special ability of each gun when you press the right click. And I kind of introduced them as just a one-off, like, secondary fire. I mean, it's in the name alt fire, but I always wanted them to be more nuanced than that. So I'm introducing that first with the sledge, which is the shotgun in Astro. Previously, the alt fire was just this big buckshot that just had more pellets in it, and it was kind of a non-decision. Like, in our playtests, you would always just engage first with the right click, and then just finish them with the left click. Now, instead, when you right click, you'll overpump the shotgun, which is inspired from Ultra Kill. Overpumping will shove another shell into the chamber, which will double the number of pellets, which then doubles the damage, but also it halves the range at which the gun's effective. And you can triple pump to get triple the pellets. So up close, a triple pump is almost impossible to miss and has insane damage, so it'll always be an insta-kill. But at range, you're still going to want to engage with the single shot. Also, triple pumping uses up more ammo and you get locked into this longer animation state, so there's still a trade-off for it. And some people mentioned after our playtests that the triple pump should make this kind of rattling sound so that enemies can hear it from a distance and kind of play off of that and make a decision.
Oh, you're dead. Your headshot is so bad, dude. You can't escape.
So my brother was hard at work modeling a new character for Astro. This is definitely our best one yet, and I really want to lean into the metallic surfaces. We're working on separating the suit from the helmet, because I really think that cosmetically it'd be cool to make these different, and I've mentioned this before that I want the helmet to actually also reskin the UI, so it feels like an actual HUD. This is kind of the first iteration of that, and in the game you can actually change which helmet you have separately from which suit you have. We also finally got reflection captures working, which made the map actually have some roughness to it, which makes it look a lot better with the lighting scattering off surfaces. It just gives it that texture that was missing before. I also added speed lines, which give you some nice feedback for going fast, and they also are volumetric, so they actually go to the left like if you're going to the right, which gives you some nice spatial feedback of what your actual velocity direction is. So that was all the features I had for this devlog. I have a ton of new ideas planned for the next playtest, so if you want to get involved, definitely join the Discord. Now that I'm back at college, I don't have as much time to work on the game, but I've been trying to interact with the community more, and I hopefully will be posting more frequent devlogs. Stay tuned for the next video. Peace.
You're such a spawn peeper. Oh my goodness, you perfect. Did you want to see me changing loadouts? You pervert.